All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to a few seconds here. See if anybody's going to jump on with us today. Hey, Jen, how's it going? All right, so today I'm going to be talking to you guys about financial freedom. All right, why it is so important to press very, very hard in 2019. There's a lot of stuff going on in the news that gives you indications that you need to get free now. All right, so I put out a poll this morning on a couple of things which I'm going to address as well. In regards to some of the questions that people face as a real estate investor. And but first I wanted to talk about, getting your money right this year and what steps you can do to make sure that happens. And most importantly, why. If you don't have a big enough reason why, you will never find out how. Okay, so just to give you a couple of things, recessions, government shutdowns, increased costs in healthcare, all of these particular things are great reasons to work on getting financially free. Because while material things are great when you get financially free, peace of mind is worth far, far more. Okay, so you ask anybody that's got a sick relative if they're nervous about their finances, and they will tell you resoundingly yes, all right, because it can take an incredible toll. So, but they will also tell you that if they had the ability to cover for someone in their family that was sick, they would take whatever steps it could, they would pay any cost. So getting free is really one of the only ways that you can do that. So setting up multiple flows of income, whether it be through real estate or other entrepreneurial investments or ventures, is really the best way that you can do it. So I know probably 99% of you that will watch this have a job of some sort, and that's your primary flow of income. But you need to start adding secondary flows of income along the way. Okay, so if we hit a recession and you lose your job or you're laid off for a period of time, like a lot of government workers are, how do you pay your bills? Here's some interesting statistics that I saw on CNBC this morning. 78% of us. 78% of all Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. Now, 10% of Americans that make 100K or more a year are also living paycheck to paycheck. So what does that tell you? That tells you if you make more, you begin to spend more. All right. So you need to find ways as you begin to improve cash flows and streams of revenue that you stay broke. You don't start living a lifestyle that automatically starts spending your money. Okay. So Grant Cardone talks a lot about this, that if you get money, you start putting it into sacred accounts so that, you can use those to buy other investments. All right. And that's a great particular strategy that I like. Another thing was 61% of us do not have 6 months worth of savings. All right. So that is also disturbing. So if your income stops today, you see a lot of this now. I was reading about this morning that a lot of people are starting GoFundMe pages, government employees, because they don't have any savings. They don't know when they're going back to work. The government contractors will not be paid once they go back. All right, they're not getting back pay. It's only the regular traditional federal workers that are going to get back pay. So if something like that happens, you lose all control. And now all of a sudden you're depending upon perfect strangers to be generous and help you out. All right. So if you don't want to be in that position, you really need to focus on 2019 and say, all right, how exactly am I going to get my money right? And what can I do to make sure I never have to worry about this stuff? All right. So I had a couple of questions that I put out this morning on social about, what are some of your biggest challenges as a real estate investor? And overwhelmingly, the response was either time, I don't have the time, I can't manage my time, or I don't have the money, or I don't have contacts that have money. All right. So let me talk a little bit about each one of those. So time it's an illusion. Saying you don't have time is ridiculous. I can guarantee you can find time in your day to look at deals, at the least, to start educating yourself, start reading books, start watching YouTube videos, start going to conferences, whatever it takes. So not enough time it's just an excuse. Let's be real about it. All right. Not having enough money. All right. So all the statistics I just gave you, we see why, right? You have zero capability of saving money. All right. So how are you going to get money? Well, we've built our entire business off of private money from the get-go. All right. Now we've reinvested our own money along the way, but when we started, it was just strictly private money from other investors. So it's not hard to do that, but you have to become bankable. Now, I have a video on our YouTube channel that you can go watch in regards to raising private money. But if you wanted to put yourself in a position to get private money, you have to start leveling up where you're hanging out. All right. I think I put up that meme yesterday that says if you are hanging out with 4 broke people, you're the 5th broke person. It's true. All right. I had somebody send me a message on Instagram today that says, well, you can't just get around people that have money. That's they don't allow you into their circles. That's a limiting belief. That's all that is. All right. There are plenty of different ways that you can get around people that have money, and you don't have to be awkward about it. All right. So start going to conferences. Don't go to the $50 conference, the free rich dad, poor dad event where there's 1,000 other people like you trying to make it. You got to go to the places where people are already making it. All right. So for instance, the first weekend of February, I'm going to the 10X Growth Conference in Miami. Now, I've upgraded my seat to be in a spot where I'm going to be sitting next to people that have money. So, I want to be circled around people that are leveling up, people that are playing at a higher level than me. So there's situations that you can put yourself in where you can get introduced to people that are playing at a higher level. All right. And you don't need to feel like, oh, I'm out of place. You act as if, right? You do belong at the table. You have something to offer. All right. Well, at least you better bring something to the table. All right. So if you're not educated, if you don't know what you're doing, you don't have any ideas or strategies or systems that will work, well, you better figure that out first. All right. So getting around people that have money is not difficult. And any other reason that you're telling yourself that you can't is just the story that you're telling yourself, period. All right. So time, money, contacts. All right. If you don't invest time and money, you're never going to have time and money. All right. So you better figure out ways to get that done. All right. So the best thing that you can do is start educating yourself. Commit in 2019 to reading more than you've ever read, going to seminars, going to workshops, going to watch YouTube videos at night instead of Netflix streaming. Really commit to getting better, and things will change for you. All right. And focus on that freedom number. If you don't know what your freedom number is, you better figure it out, because if you don't know where you're going, you're never going to get there. It's like jumping in the car without a GPS or a map, even an old school paper folding map, and say, well, I'm going to drive to Montana. Well, how are you going to get there? So you got to figure that out ahead of time. So if your freedom number is $3,000 a month, you have to work that backwards and say, all right, this is how many properties, if it's real estate that you're doing, this is how many properties it's going to take me to get financially free. If you get $300 a month on average from a rental or a deal that you own or finance, it's going to take you 10 deals. How long will it take you to do 10 deals? Probably not that long. All right. Our first year, we started with nothing. We did 70 deals on notes, 70 new notes in our first year with none of our own money. So don't tell me that it's not possible. Don't tell me that you can't find the contacts. Don't tell me that you can't educate yourself enough to get the job done. All right. So anything else that you tell yourself is an absolute story, and all you're doing is delaying the inevitable, that you're never going to be financially free. All right. So if I can help you, if I can be a resource to you, if you have questions, DM me on Instagram or on Facebook, and I'll be glad to answer any questions that I can. If you guys have topics that you want to talk about or learn more about more specifically during these videos, I'm glad to do them. I got some great guests booked up through March. Some people that are doing turnkey rentals, some people that have written books, some people that are national speakers. So I'm really excited about that. They're going to bring a tremendous amount of value to you. They're friends of mine, people that I know in this business, that I trust, that I know are good people, and they're not out just to sell something. They want to help other people succeed, and that's what we're all about as well. So anyway, anybody have any questions? I know I got some people here on Instagram or on Facebook. There's a couple people watching. You can type it in, and I'll hang out for a minute. Let's see. How do we get our first private money person? Okay, so our first private money person was actually a family friend of my partner. So your natural market is your best market to go to. All right, so people that know you, they like you, they trust you. Initially, they may not be so trusting with their money. Okay, so you better show them that you're bankable. Show them that you have an ability to return their money and how exactly you're going to do it, and most importantly, when. All right, so give them confidence to invest in you, that they're going to actually get some form of a rate of return, and it's going to be expeditious. All right. What else we got? What's up, Manny? All right. Notes. Okay, so if you want to learn more about real estate investing and notes, I would encourage you to check out our. I have a group on Facebook. It's called Building Wealth with Notes. So you can look that up and join the group. We talk more about that in there. How do you guys buy real estate for pennies on the dollar? So basically what we do is we buy in bulk from banks and auctions. So if you think about Walmart, okay, if you go into Walmart and let's say you wanted to buy this t-shirt, all right, and Walmart buys all their t-shirts from China. Okay, so you say, you know what, I think I'm going to go to China and try to get a better deal. If you just go to China and say, hey, China, I'd like to buy one Cash Flow is King t-shirt, please. Well, you're never going to get the same price as Walmart gets, okay? It's just not realistic because they're buying in volume. That's the same exact way that we're buying real estate for pennies on the dollar. We're buying in volume, all right? So if you bid against us, let's say, for instance, it's a bid on an auction.com property. We've won bids where we bid less than a person that actually met the reserve on a property, and we still won it. Why? Because they know we'll close, all right? They know we'll do what we say we're going to do. We're not going to back out of the deal. So the best way is all about relationships. It's all about becoming bankable. Start reaching out to asset managers, people in banks. It's no big secret society. Anybody can do it. But if you ever want to buy and be a part of our system, you can reach out to me privately, and I would be glad to talk with you about that. You can get the benefit of bidding with us. We bid usually anywhere from $3 to $4 million per month is what our bids equate to. So that's not what we win, but that's what we bid. So hopefully that answers your question. Let's see. Nothing else. I'll go ahead and wrap up. Looks like that's it. But anyway, hopefully you guys are off to a great start in 2019. If you are going to be at the Growth Con in Miami, please send me a direct message. I would love to meet you there. I'll be down on the field. So, but nonetheless, I would love to meet you, talk real estate, and see if there's some opportunities for us to network and work together. That would be awesome. What percentage off do you buy from the bank? That varies. Usually the bank will provide sort of a indication bid of what they want. And we try to bid far under that. So it'll usually be, 50 cents on what they're asking, which is usually 30% of ARV on a property. So it can vary. It just depends. Can I talk about reserve? Reserve for auction, if that's what you mean in terms of like how a reserve works on eBay. Essentially, what if a property doesn't have a reserve amount? Okay, so if a property doesn't have a reserve, essentially what we'll do is we'll try to buy that property for as cheap as possible, what we think the bank will want. Sometimes it just comes down to having a conversation with the auction company or the bank and say, look, we buy a lot of deals from you. Tell us what they're looking for here, and we'll see if we can't put together a deal. So a lot of times you'll get information that way. Sometimes they have to keep it, quiet, and that's fine. But the idea is that you don't overpay for something in case there's some other issue going on. So if the property is a $35,000 bid, I'd have to look at the property to really kind of know. It's all about feel. So I'm going to look at the deal and say, all right, what do I think we could get for this property on the back end? Because here's our thought process. We want to make the deal attractive to somebody else on the back end. All right. So we want to say, if an investor, let's say it's out of market. All right. So if this property was in St. Louis, Missouri, I'm in Florida. If that property, I'm not going to buy that property to have it, to own it, more than likely, unless it's an owner finance deal. But if I just want to flip that property, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at properties around that area and say, okay, what are they selling for? All right. So if that property is currently at, let's say it's worth $70,000 based on comps in the area. And a comp to me is it's been sold in the last 6 months. It's within a half mile or closer of the property. It's plus or minus 10% on square footage. Beds and baths are comparable. The age of the home is comparable. So I'm going to look at that and say, okay, if I can buy this for 50% of ARV, that means I could sell it to a local investor for 60% ARV, and it's going to be a good deal for them. All right. So, because if you look at a lot of markets, wholesalers in general, the people that hang up the "We Buy Houses" signs, they will have deals that are 80% of ARV. That's not a deal. All right. So they think that, they got to make all the money on one deal. You don't. When you deal in volume, you don't. You can spread it out over multiple deals so that you are just consistently having cash flow come in. So that's how we try to price it out. I hope that answers it for you, but let me know if you got a follow-up question. So, and if it doesn't fit into that program, we don't buy it. That's just it. So there's always going to be more deals. So that's the problem with a lot of people, is they get very emotionally caught up with a deal and they're like, oh, this is such a great deal. There's always more deals. So don't sweat that. Let's see. Somebody wants to join our live video. I've never done this before, so hopefully I don't foul it up. Well, maybe I fouled it up. So if no reserve and the property is $35,000, that's the minimum you can get it for. Not necessarily. You might be able to get it for less. You just have to. It depends on how motivated the bank is. If the bank lists a property for $40,000, what would you bid maximum? Again, it depends on what the after repair value is on that property. I would want to know what that looks like before I could make a guesstimate on that. But usually, if it makes sense, we're going to try to bid somewhere between 30 and 50 cents on the dollar of what they're asking. All right, good. That cleared it up for you. Awesome. All right. Anything else? If not, I'll go ahead and wrap up for this week. Again, 10X Growth Con in Miami in a couple weeks. Hopefully I get to see you there. Hello, Marianne. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. And if you guys, if you haven't followed us on our YouTube channel yet, please do so. Odell Barnes REO, you'll find us. That's where I put all these videos, and then I've got some other informational videos that you can see there, especially the one about raising private money. did a interview with the owner of a fund. So they're very good at raising private money. So I would suggest that you watch that one. And yeah, that's it for today. Aaron, I will do that. Yes, sir. Thank you. And so yeah, thanks for joining me today. I appreciate it. If you shared the stream, thank you. If not, do it afterwards. All right. I'm trying to help some people here. So get your money right in 2019. Know your number. Memorize it. All right. And oh man, hey, are you going to GrowthCon? If not, let's get together, man. I'm going to be down there for like 3 days. So thanks, Jen. You have a good day too. We'll see you soon, I'm sure. And how come auction.com doesn't sell to the winning buyer? That's a great question. I mean, you'd have to ask them that question. If auction.com feels like they know they're going to close it with somebody like us, then that's what they'll do. But auctions are weird, man. You never get what you expect. Anytime you are making a bid, you are usually bidding against yourself. They have somebody there running it up. So, you know, that's why you make a bid and all of a sudden it's like, oh, somebody else bid $1,000 more than me. Now, a lot of times that is the auction company doing that, okay? And then you can win that bid and they'll call you back and say, oh, you were the high bidder at this price. Well, that's not what I really wanted to pay for it. So anyway, it's kind of rigged. I hate to use that word because it comes with a certain stigma, but it's a little bit rigged. So you just have to know how to play the game, that's all. Thanks for joining, Don. Thanks, Mark. I appreciate it. If that's it, I'm going to wrap up for today, but hope to see you guys soon, and we'll check you back here hopefully next week. I'll figure out something to talk about. So what do you do then? How come auction.com doesn't sell to the winning bid, and then what do you do then? Well, if you met the reserve and you were the winning bidder, the best thing you could probably do is try to find out who won it, and then maybe make a deal with them. That's happened with us several times where investors have found out about, I don't know how they found out, but they reached out to us and talked to us about buying a deal that they thought they had won. And guess what? They ended up buying it for less than what they had the high bid on. So what are alternatives to auction.com? There are a bunch of them. Hudson Marshall, eBay, you know, there's a lot of places. There's FDIC auctions. There's a lot of different places. But big thing is if you want to contact local banks, like not Bank of America or SunTrust, but like, you know, local little community banks, those might be some great opportunities to establish relationships where if you don't have the capacity to buy 10 to 20 deals, maybe you've got the capacity to buy one and say, hey, listen, anytime you get a spreadsheet of deals, I'd love to take a look, and I can't buy 100, but maybe I can buy a couple, you know, and even if you can't, maybe you can supply that information to your network, wholesale a couple deals, you know, start getting your foot in the door and start raking in some money to help out. So those are some good strategies too. So anyway, that's it. Cash flow is king, guys. Remember that. All right. 2019, let this be your mantra. This is why I'm wearing this t-shirt. Cash flow is king. Cash flow will make you free. All right. Give you peace of mind. So give you options. That's what it's all about, is having options. All right. So if you are tied to a company, you are tied to a JOB, make it your goal to get out of that. Keep your JOB for as long as you need to so you can start stacking money, but stay broke and then start investing along the way. All right. All right, guys. Thanks for joining. I appreciate you. And we'll talk to you soon. Check out odellbarnesreo.com for some great deals on real estate. If you're watching us on Facebook, check us out on Instagram. If you're watching us on Instagram, check us out on Facebook. And have a great day. Thanks, guys.